Welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是157天。It is day 157. No updates. Man, is it going on 2 months? Yeah, no updates. Hopefully they're all right. All right, so let's get into it. Our lessons.
护士
Okay. 是 right. And who? To protect soldier, a nurse. Yeah, protection soldier. The sort of soldier. Oof, soldier. That protects us against sickness and death. Yeah. 护士。我妹妹是护士。Okay. Good enough.
护士
是
之间
之间of between of interval. Yeah, that's fine. Between. 我们之间有很 deep 的有 something 友谊 interesting. Another friendship. Boy howdy. 友谊深的友谊。 Alright, give me another one. 这两座城市之间的 It has a mecha in it. Unless we got mecha. Something like 很远。I got Yuan mixed up with Juan yesterday. Yuan. What is that? 距离 okay. 距离 is these two cities. Between these two cities is I guess maybe a distance that is very far. 距离 or it could mean no, yeah, it's kind of like a distance that is too far. So these two cities, the between of these two cities distance is too far, or the distance between these two cities. Or it could be this. No, because there's leave here. And then G. And that's interesting. I don't know what this phrase means yet. What about down here? Maybe another one. 他们之间的感情是不会持久不 yeah 持久的 support for a long time. So they're it's like they're between feelings. So the feelings between them are not going to hold up or hold for a long time. So it won't last long. Yeah, won't last long. Interesting. 持久 long and support put together. 喜酒的 the love between them. Oh, 感情 I mean feelings. Yeah, love. Okay, in this case, I guess you can the feelings between them.
之间，
之间 I keep saying 之 stop. I don't know how many times I said G. Sometimes I say G, sometimes I say 之 We'll see. 之间之间 between
苹果，
苹果 alright 苹果 is fine. Although I did forget 苹 momentarily yesterday. 苹果他正在吃苹果 alright. This one's fine.
苹果，艺术，
艺术 art is art 艺术 right 艺术家 yeah 艺术家 artist whoops
艺术，
艺术gotta make sure E is new ish
之一，
之一 one of makes sense of one of 这是我最喜欢的一本书之一。How does that work? One of my I see. One of my favorite books. Or one of my favorite, yeah, and then the counter is just one. Interesting. And then tray. Okay. It almost feels a little redundant. It almost feels a bit redundant.
之一，
之一
护士，
护士
艺术，
艺术
之一，
之一之间
之间，苹果，
苹果 Okay, next one. 东亚 Yeah, 东亚 East Asia makes sense. 中国是东亚的一部分
中国是东亚的一部分。
一部分 Oh yeah, that's right. Silence, right. 部分 Right. Gotta remember that. Silence. 你有去过东亚吗？
东亚，骑士，
horseback riding person or a soldier that rides a horse. Yeah, that's fine. I call it horseback riding a lot of times is because ride is attached to horse. So this is a horse ride. 难 Oh wait. Oh, is that still gonna go as 难? I wonder. 难改 Nah, that sounds awful. Maybe like 语改的启示 No, 勇敢 Oh, sorry, 勇敢 Wrong, not guy, gan. But 勇 which is courage. Still didn't have that yet. No. So 勇敢的骑士
勇敢地骑士，
骑士， 头痛，
headache headache 喝太少水 I was gonna say 喝 太多酒, right? I was immediately going to the drinking too much alcohol as opposed to drinking too little water. That's kind of funny. 喝太小水容易 easily 容易造成 create to lead to. Oh, interesting. Change into create. 造成头痛。
喝太少水容易造成头痛。
造成头痛。Fair enough.
头痛。
Okay.
艺品。
An art product. Yeah, in artwork. Wait. Do I have scepter? I feel like I do. Oh no. Is it still you? No, maybe not. An umbrella? Scepter. An umbrella scepter. I feel like I do, but I don't know what it is. 贵的艺品。蒸。No, I don't. 珍贵的艺品。What is this? 灯 or 糖 No, 当代艺术家的艺品。当代 contemporary. Interesting, contemporary. No, that gonna need some time on that one.
艺品。东南亚。
Southeast Asia, yeah, okay. 喜多 maybe the 喜多。许多人喜欢去东南亚旅行。
许多人喜欢去东南亚旅行。
许多 many. I don't think we have 许多 yet, which I don't really know how that checks out. Many. Permit a lot. Yes. 许多人喜欢去东南亚旅行。Okay.
东南亚。
Okay.
东亚。
Oops.
歧视。
Oh, whoops. I hit the wrong.
东南亚。
Whoops.
头痛。
Oh, I missed that was not spelled properly.
艺品。
一品。
苹果园。
Apple arch. Oh, yeah. For a moment there, I thought I heard Apple money, which technically, yen can be money as well. It's like Apple money. What the heck? Is that like Apple Pay? 苹果园. Okay, 苹果园. Apple orchard makes sense. Or a park, a garden as well. Apple orchard. Rural. Okay, rural. 苹果园. 乡村苹果人。
乡村苹果园。
乡村 also rural but village as well and all that other stuff. Okay, we're good.
苹果园。甜点。
甜点 dessert. Fair enough. Sweet spot. 甜点 is a very common word. 这家餐厅的甜点很有名
这家餐厅的甜点很有名。
这家餐厅的甜点很有名。
甜点。中世纪。
Middle generation. How did D work? Snake, thread, account, or oh no, that's Japanese. Era. Oh, okay, that makes sense for era now. Oh, that makes sense how it connects to account. I see. 中世纪 中世纪 Okay. 中世纪是 something I feel like this is 鸭 as well. 鸭的一个重要时期。中世纪是what? 欧洲 Oh, it's Joe, not Ya. Joe, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe. I'm thinking of Joe. Yeah, Joe. For also Asian. Or I think. Yeah, Joe. Oh, that makes sense now. Yeah, Joe. Anyways. 欧洲的一个重要时期。Interesting.
中世纪是欧洲的一个重要时期。
欧洲的一个重要时期。Interesting. 中
世纪。豆
for beans, yeah, like tofu. We're getting a lot of the standalone characters finally, but the primary ones happen to be the ones that weren't the vanilla things. I think that's pretty okay because it laxes it up, right? I think the ones that you start with that only has one component is actually kind of tough to remember when you start expanding. So going backwards is okay, provided that you be able to distinguish between the standalone and the slightly more complicated version. Like drums or beans are in everything. Like how do you convert this into another character? Oops, sorry, I missed a stroke. That's why it looked a little weird. Like you could do this or any form of a hat. Give the bean a hat and you're good to go. Okay, Dracula is in the bathroom of the bakery, covered in flour and feeling anemic. Okay, Dracula anemic. That's fair enough. And then bakery with the flour. He opens a can of kidney beans, drenched in blood, and starts eating them while sitting on the toilet. He gets a croissant, bakery, and dips them into the beans too. Blood-soaked kidney beans. That's kind of a dad joke as well. Kidney beans. But I got you. So What kind of dough do we have? Wando? Wando. Kind of has bean bowl bean. Or bean puppet bowl, but it kind of looks like it's related to bowl. Like a plate beans, you know, small tiny things. And then tu dou. Ground beans, potatoes. I got you. Or dirt beans. Soybean, Wando. Oh, interesting. Huang, yellow. I guess they do look yellow, huh? Like before they're processed, they do look yellow. So yellow, interesting. Yellow beans for soybeans. Wando, and then of course tofu. I like to think that fu has something to do with like pressing the thing together, like curd, right? Has something to do with curding or pressing into a block. And then right, doujiang, which isn't milk. It's not dounai, but doujiang is what soy milk is. I don't actually. It's not general, but it's general with the water. Somehow becomes milk. We'll see.
豆
I wonder how they go about it.
寸
Chun. Chun. Oh no, Chinese inch. Alright. We gotta review. The Chinese mile is... Yeah. Right. Wait. Oh, it's the other way around. Alright. So we have the Chinese mile. This is Chinese inch. There's also the Chinese pound. What was that? No, that's gold, but it has something to relate to gold, and I don't remember, or something like that. Oh no. All right. Anyways, I can Chinese inch. Okay, Cun. Cupid is once again in the bathroom of the infirmary. Cupid's all over the infirmary. You have Chun, and Chun. Now, looking for someone to shoot a caliper at, and then always shooting a caliper as well. Chun is shooting a caliper from the tree outside the infirmary, and then Chun. How do you trim the heck out of the infirmary? I don't remember what it is, but Chun. So, right. Oh no, wait. Oh yeah. It's the arch. So he's shooting. Oh yeah, he's shooting calipers over an arch, under an arch, and then the tree. All right. We have Chun. So Chun, and they all have the caliper in it. In heckin' Cupid, always shooting calipers at people. What the heck? Cupid is in the bathroom of the infirmary looking for someone to shoot a caliper at. Since he ran out of love arrows, he finds a person standing at the mirror and shoot it at him, striking him in the back. Wait. Since he ran out of love arrows, because caliper is not a love arrow, striking him in the back. Whereupon he screams in pain. A doctor runs in and yanks out the arrow and tells the victim, "Don't worry, the caliper missed your heart by a Chinese inch," and begins bandaging the wound, which is also a Chinese inch wide and deep. What? Why? Did Cupid just disappear? Is Cupid like stealth Cupid? Why couldn't it be like a love caliper? And then the person screamed, and the doctor runs in and yanks the arrow out and tells the victim, "Don't worry, it was a love caliper. But if it was any closer to your heart, you might burst with love." Or Chinese inch away from. No. Okay, all right. Chinese inch. All right, it's fine. Okay. 尺寸 size. English inch. Yeah. Ying chun. I got you. English. You know, it would be really funny if Mei chun is American inch. Sorry, that's not funny because the English inch is still the American inch. I could joke about it.
寸
Chun. All right.
豆
Oh.
甜点
甜点. Whoops. It's not Japanese.
中世纪
I almost typed Japanese. Well, I did. Domaji for a moment there. Times in a row.
寸 苹果园
Korean. Alright. Wu, nothing. Interesting. Alright. Walter White is inside the living room of the house. Making some good stuff with his huge cauldron. So he moved his cauldron from the basement to the living room. Walter leaves for a long while and comes back only to find nothing is inside the cauldron because it was all boiled away. How about we go with something like Walter White is inside the house, inside the living room of the house, making some good stuff, right? He finished the process. He finished the process in a cauldron. Now, he spent the next couple hours packaging most of the stuff, the good stuff, from the cauldron until nothing is left out in the open, right? I think that's a bit more than that. So he stays in the house as opposed to requiring him to leave the house. 无聊 boring. Interesting. 无法 nothing method, cannot. That's no method. 无相 infinite. Maybe no end or something, like xiang has something to do with ending. Silver hills. Interesting. Invincible. Wu Di, maybe like unable to hurt or unable to damage or something. Or no damage. Invincible. Wu jia ke gui. Wu jia ke gui. Oh, I don't know what gui is. Maybe available. Like wu jia ke gui. So no house able or contain maybe possession, I don't know, of something like that.
无 影
Ying to draw or pull. Do we have a pole too? To draw a bow. Okay, to pull. Add pole. Because of ki. Kiru. Oh, not kiru. He. Hiru. Or hiku. Not hiru. Hiku. Ying. Yoshi is in the basement, okay, of the infirmary. Go on. Fighting off against some doctors who are trying to sedate him. Maybe he's trying to fight off Dr. Mario, who's trying to sedate him because he's injured. He's just being rebellious, you know? He has a bow in one arm and draws the string back with the other. He loads in a narrow rod with a spotted egg attached to it as the head and shoots it at the doctor, but it narrowly misses. And then, you know, Dr. Mario succeeded in sedating him and then treating him for his wounds. That's probably will work pretty well. Okay. Draw bow. Oh, that's funny. Yin gong, yin gong, yin dao. To guide. Draw to guide. Interesting. Xi ying. Escalator and mouth. Correct. Ying qing. Ying qing. Engine. Does that sound like engine? Ying qing? No. Engine. No, I don't think so. So maybe I'm not sure if this is like yet like 巧克力 situation. I don't. Oh wait, do I know the right hand? That's salute and hand. Oh wait, is that salute in hand? Yeah, salute in hand. Qing, Kirby, and no, I don't. It could still be
影
not a cognate, like a cognate situation.
零
Ling, personal. This is very personal. Woods, Ling for woods. Link is inside the infirmary, recovering from his wound. He has converted his sickbed into a hammock which hangs between two trees that sprout out of the tile floor. He calls his sick room Deku Woods. Oh, okay. Deku Woods. Makes it relevant to Link. He's sick. Right, so he's in infirmary. Fine. Okay. Ling. So we have... Oh my god. Oh my word. Sung. 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 Sung Ling. Shu Ling. Okay. Forest and oh no, woods. Oh no. Pine. Oh okay. Pine woods is still checks out. Song Ling. Tongling. Oh man, what a monster that is. Jungle. Oh, Musiling. Oh, okay, Musiling. That's what I mean. The sound like cognate. Was it Musiling? Musiling.
零
Oh, come on. Woods and forest.
位
I prefer forest. Wait. Okay, not yet. Makes sense. Matsu. Ne? No, not Matsu. Mi. Sorry, Mi. Wei. Walter White is in the bathroom of the beach house, cooking the good stuff, which his family is out on the beach relaxing. He wears a straw hat and is mixing ingredients that he pulls off of the blossoming tree in the corner into the toilet bowl. While muttering, "Not yet rich enough. Not yet rich enough." Okay. I mean, not yet. Like, he's just working on something that's not yet complete. So he pulled some ingredients from the blossoming tree. That's it. Not yet perfect. Not yet perfect, so he incorporated some ingredients from a blossoming tree. That's fair enough. While on vacation, while his family's out, not knowing what he's doing, that's pretty Walter White. Wei Hun, not yet married, unmarried. Wei Lai, future, not, oh yeah, Wei Lai. Mirai, right? Mirai. Wei Lai. Wei Hun Qi. Wei Hun Qi. Interesting. Beyonce. Oh. That's Qi. Wei Hun Qi. Okay.
魏史
Sure. Oh, I didn't even realize we didn't get history yet. Sure. Shrek is in the basement of the house where he is being taught Shu by a walking broom that has a mouth. I gotta make sure I don't get it confused with Shu. This is also Shu. Thank you, Chinese. Thank you. In a bathroom that has a mouth. Of course, the only noise it makes are weird cracking wood noises and shuffling hay. Excuse me? Oh, I guess, yeah, okay. Walking broom, the mouth. But it is going over the history of the walking brooms. Presumably, Shrek sits with a concentrated face as if he could possibly understand the nuances of walking broom history. All right, Shrek. Fair enough. This is fine. This is legacy. 历史. Yeah, 历史. History it is. 事实. History facts or history realities. Nice.
史
Okay.
无魏尹史林
Okay. All right. Cool. Not bad, not bad. All right, time to lock in.
"晚餐
我晚餐吃了鱼，
包等等
衣服、鞋子等等。
Oh, etc. I'm like, what is happening?
高贵
出身高贵，
Or noble. Yeah, that's fine. What? Oh. What? Wait, what the? Oh, I missed the end. Typos galore. Oh no.
乱
Okay, good. Hmm. What? Oh my gosh, I missed the 4.
不
Okay.
句子
读这个句子，
批评
我们必须批评政府。
No. No.
数量
限制数量，
Hmm. Excuse me?
眼皮
我的眼皮一直跳，
Up. Missed.
提
Oops. Oh my goodness, I missed the E. Wait, so what went down here? Oh.
转告
请转告他，我明天去看他。
广告. Here. 广告. Proclaim to visit. There's so many.
店面
他在店面前面，
Is it? I don't know.
呢
Oh. Wait. What? Oh. Fine. Oh, my gut feeling failed me.
观众
Okay. Oh, dang it. I hit the wrong button again. Oh, that was a measuring cup, not a ladle. Measuring cup. Let's try this again. Oops. Yeah, no, that's fine. And not try to mess up.
团结
Thank
团结
you.
一致，
Wanjie. Group them together. Then, hello there, Proka. Hello. What's on your mind lately? What is happening here? Turn into proclamation. Yeah, like inform. I'm doing pretty well today. Had a opportunity to explain some stuff much earlier today, so I'm a bit late here. How are you? What has been on your mind lately? I feel like all of these are fine to pass on. Okay, so we have inform, notify, Oh, they didn't take that stuff. Notify, tell, form. You've been thinking about family relationships recently. Oh, okay. Interesting.
音量
收音机音量已开到最大。
Any particular inspiration for that?
9
What am I looking at? What the heck is that? Seaweed? What about me? What's been on my mind recently? I watched a movie called Perfect Days. It's been on my mind for some time. There's some stuff going on in your family. Oh, okay, okay. I guess recently we talked about actually not too many things out of the ordinary. Lots of explaining the difference between integrating information and using information, right? Using information without understanding the information, right? Probably something that you can imagine being talked about on a regular basis. What am I looking at? YOLO?
响起
观众中响起了热烈的掌声。
分组
我们今天要分组。
Yeah, that is to separate. Okay. Divide into groups. How do I mess this up?
因子
What? What? Wait. Have I been mispronouncing this? Oh, I forgot to add the H. Yeah. I forgot to add the H. Lazy typing.
蓝色
他一定喜欢蓝色。
Uh-oh. You love your take last time we spoke about how cooperative games tend to be games that teammates are playing individually but all towards a common goal without actually playing together as a team. Ah, yeah. That is definitely the social norm these days. I think understanding that helps quite a lot with playing video games, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes it could anger people and empower them to do differently, but I mentioned these things in these observations largely because if you're gonna go into a cooperative game, like for example a team game or maybe like a PvP VE game, which is becoming increasingly popular nowadays, understanding that and learning how to work with it may make your enjoyment of those type of video games a bit better, or it could empower you to try to change it if you want. Like say a developer out there like nah, that's it, we're done with this, let's make a game dealing with a design that will incredibly be unpopular, but maybe with time will change the tide of game design, right? Or if you're aware of this and you see that it's shifting, it's a good business move. So oftentimes, in my opinion, in the shoes of a publisher and or a developer, when you have just enough market and demand for very specific types of paradigm shifts in mindset, you can capitalize on it before before your opponents do. And that's kind of, I love that role. That's what consultants do, right? Consultants use their experience to analyze patterns, and then those patterns can make for preemptive business strategies. Alternatively, obviously, it can be applied to like psychology and marketing and what have you. But looking at trends and then delving into trends is quite fun, and it can also be very cathartic. Very cathartic. As I forget what this left character is. Dirt and suit. I'm gonna say gut feeling is telling me
社会
okay.
每个人都应该关心社会。
That sentence, I don't know if you know, but that sentence says everybody should care about their society. Everyone should pay attention to society. And that's kind of funny because that's exactly what I was talking. Coincidentally, by coincidence, I was referring to the societal good of being aware of these things. Today, someone asked me about what was I doing about my Wanikani stuff and how I am going about using SRS system. It ended up with another topic about what learning is like now online. At least my opinion of learning, my impressions, how learning has changed. Learning has changed dramatically. So the way people design apps, tools and stuff will change to adapt to their clientele, right? And my impressions that I get from this is by using apps like this. This is not like, despite I'm not going around saying I don't learn like this and people should not learn like this. It's more like I am trying to figure out why these things are successful now, or popular even, or popular enough for people to be consistent about, as opposed to saying, well, this is not the way I used to learn, so therefore it doesn't work, or what have you. So when someone was asking me about what do I do and how I interact with the SRS system, I was going over all the stuff that I do that is not necessarily classical in the way other people use these tools now, because these would be probably their first tools to use to acquire knowledge or abstraction or whatnot. And for me, the stuff that I am going to describe is a combination of things predating app design and whatnot. Now, will this change in the future about how people learn things? I have no idea. I think it's going even more extreme in the other direction, which is related to the whole cooperative gaming thing. When you remove the necessity to communicate with anyone, right? Because common goals and conveniences put things together, that knowledge is interpreted as numbers. It doesn't necessarily require the person to understand what it's actually doing. So like for this situation, someone could say, well, this HanziHero is terrible for learning Chinese because people don't only speak in broken sentences. Like, well, the fact is they use broken sentences. The interpretation that this will not be useful in developing larger sentences and larger concepts, that deals with the consumer's inability or refusal to want to consider the idea of elaborating on it themselves. So when the tool is not literally doing that, it can't possibly be helping you or contribute to a bigger picture. That's kind of how when you play a cooperative game, when you insult someone, it's all because of the game and it can't possibly go beyond the game. When you make a friend in a game, it can't be possibly a friend that doesn't play the game and still be friends. So many of the behavior of data, of facts, has made it so that most human processes are incredibly generalized to the point where there are no longer human interactions involved. It mitigates the necessity for human interaction. In fact, oftentimes the closest thing you can get to a human interaction is the expression and coincidences of a common goal, which does tie with both the video games and explaining the advice that I get about language learning. The common goal is you want to be fluent in the language you're studying. That is the common goal. And 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, for a language learner, they might be right. For me, it's not, because it's about the human being. All the things and other things you have to do while you're learning this thing or working towards this. There are many, many goals before the common goal. And one of them is to understand how humans interact with that behavior in mind. So in a video game, as long as it's towards a common goal, people don't care how they treat each other. Right? If you get to the goal, if you're the carry, it doesn't matter if you act like a jerk and make everyone support you. As long as you win, then you're right. If you lose, then you blame everyone else, not you. Right? Because somehow you can only measure the things you care about. You can only measure the metrics you see. You are only responsible for the metrics you care about. You rarely ever have to evaluate on anyone else's. So when a game system does not highlight those metrics, then the people who are constantly right continue to play the game, and the people who are constantly wrong leaves the game. So now the game developers are in charge of making sure that everyone feels appreciated in their game and not leave it up to the gamers to figure out what is being appreciated. Imagine, hear me out, imagine if there was a PvP game nowadays, a shooter, a competitive shooter that has no KDA reporting. How much chaos, but over time, if they made a really excellent game and they remove the stats from the game, in the long run, how skilled or collaborative could it be in the game? Now, it would be growing pains, obviously. What the first thing the modern age gamer would do is they would add KDA themselves. Right? They would first quantify their performance immediately because of internet behavior, right? However, I would say there would be a higher opportunity for people to talk and look at people's performances, because they now have to literally look at each other's performances, and they literally have to track their own performances with reference to other people's performances. So the moment that convenience gets removed, you might have a higher opportunity of understanding what playing together as a team means. So, in essence, sometimes survival games, especially survival games with no form of tracking, and in a reliance and a push for people to work together, in that minimalism has created an opportunity for people to start using their critical thinking and problem solving skills again. And a lot of the things, if it involves interacting with another human being, it can lead to a slow adaptation initially, but then it leads to an explosive supportive community. And you're wondering, what kind of game does that really well right now? Stardew Valley, Terraria, Minecraft. So those games minimizes metrics and performance. If it's interested to those people, they would design it, right? They would be responsible for it. They create the infrastructure. So, but those are extreme cases. It takes extreme cases now to create a community built like reinforcement. What is one of the greatest ones? An example, Eve Online. Eve Online is one of the greatest examples of where you create a system, but then there are all the subsystems were the done due to the consequences of the people, the environment, and oftentimes sandbox games without the modernization, like a few modernizations, the vanilla sandbox games tend to be far more supported. They're not very popular though, and also a lot of times they are undervalued. They are heavily criticized for not having the modern standards of efficiency. Efficiency is a selling point. So when you think about AAA titles, they're AAA titles because they include modern standardizations, where you can find examples and occasional examples where there are examples where they push against standardization, is the occasional indie title that have existed for 7 to 8 years of curation on their communities. And that creates that collaborative and even AR, augmented reality community, like sub-meta game communities. And we might see that in the future because of other examples, like the cost of video games and whatnot, and then like marketing and business. It's looking like, if I had to make a prediction about cooperative games, especially strictly cooperative games instead of like PvP, it will benefit in the next 2 or 3 years when the indie renaissance happens. It's coming to a critical mass, in my opinion, where pandering marketed designs is becoming too risky. It's not consistent enough no longer. So in the next like 5 or so years, there might be an indie renaissance, and we might not be I might not say the same thing in another 3 to 4 years. Cooperative collaborative game might be the overcompensation or a compensation for what is now today's the normalized behavior, right? I think it takes very high overexposure of a particular behavior before humans as a group, as a unified group, tend to push back, right? And I think competitive PvP behavior is reaching a critical mass. And then pandering to reinforcing, and this isn't like direct or intentional. I think it's an unintentional consequence, because if you have foster a gaming environment that predominantly emphasizes cooperation and collaboration, it may also unintentionally and indirectly affect how customers interact with their suppliers or creators. And that's my bigger picture thing. I honestly think that whoever pulls the trigger on creating kind of compensating or rehabilitating much more social connections when it comes to the video game aspect instead of the antisocial, almost nearly unintentionally antisocial aspects, it may actually improve consumer response to businesses and their products. So then you can possibly gain from having people who like your products less extreme. But it also means people aren't also unconditionally loyal as well. You give up the, oh, we can do whatever to our player base. They're basically hooked on this stuff. To, okay, they might go and play other games. We don't have them particularly hooked, but they also won't hate us and burn us whenever we drop the ball. So extreme behavior might mellow out for more consistent business behavior. And in response to that, businesses may start to take risks, relatively speaking, risks again, because you don't have extreme behavior. The fear and deterrence, in my opinion, is also associated with the extreme demands and behaviors of the internet. So when you think about a AAA title, it checks all the boxes and nothing more. Because the moment they drop those standards, the game flops, probably. Like, and flops from a commercial standpoint, like investment in and investment out. There was a time when people like games, dislike games, and they continue to play the games. They either play it with the opportunity to learn to like a game because not convenient to just simply write off games because your taste is a little bit more eclectic back in the day. Nowadays, it's like, oh, I didn't lose this match because I didn't like my players. I didn't like my players, therefore we lost. The system doesn't work because my teammates weren't appropriate for me. The system should have matched me with good teammates. It's far easier to do that. It's a very, very typical behavioral response for not necessarily older people who are playing games before this happened, but the new paradigm in behavior. When you, and even older people like me, when I played Overwatch, for example, long enough, I start behaving that way to some extent too. And that is manufacturing and optimizing what humans do. So even if I'm aware of this, it still kind of feels awful when you think, oh man, the matchmaking system must suck, because it doesn't ever feel like I'm either having a good match. It's always I get steamrolled, or I do the steamrolling with my team who are, and then I think about it as like my team. It's not my team. It's a matched team, right? So the idea of being so emotionally invested in a game that isn't designed to emotionally invest you in anything is, other than yourself, is how I overcome or how I negotiate all of that negative response. It makes far more logical and emotional sense that if you're playing a game and you understand that the only reason you have a team of players is mechanically determined by some objective facts, that most of your teammates, including yourself, are likely barren of emotional investment in anything in that game, because you didn't put in any inputs in that game. Occasionally you might make a play and the other team member is like, oh yeah, you're so good, and then it's gone. That feeling will immediately disappear the moment you enter another queue, right? It will be overwhelmed by your negative part. So being aware that when you go into a competitive game, asking yourself, trying to leverage your objectivity to combat the objectivity, is the idea that if your KDA is low and you're saying that's because my team sucked and I didn't get a chance to get kills so I can look better, like, well, I don't think your teammates care, nor do you care about your teammates' contribution to the thing. You only care that the number is up, right? And that's not to say you're a bad person or anybody else is a bad person. I think sometimes it's difficult to step back and take a breather to understand how objectivity and then metrics can obscure and make violent reactions to things you may not understand anymore, largely because it's not part of the equation anymore. Like, do people actually know that their team sucks based on the statistics of the match? I disagree wholeheartedly that they actually do. Because when you become a pro and you start looking at esports examples where they operate as a team, generally those stats do not check out. They do not reflect when you have teammates and you operate as a team. Much like my favorite example, Player Obscure. When someone says, oh my gosh, 30 people. How could 30 people create such a magnificent product? I'm not underplaying this. They did beautiful things. I can't talk about Claire Obscure at, much more than I can now. But think about what that statement is. A corporate company of over 150 to 200 people, and then people are juxtaposing AAA title groups to 30 people. What is the missing element that would logically explain this outcome? It's the normalization of objective management, in my opinion. So, okay, you have 200 people. Do they even talk to each other? Do they even work together? Are they compartmentalized into little bits and pieces and they don't care about other parts of the game? It's to the point where if you have enough corporate structure, you have a loss in translation even between the people who occupy the same space. Like in an office space, if you have hundreds of workers and they don't have a system in place that encourages them to communicate with each other and provide feedback from each other, they might as well be working for different companies and different game developers, right? It's also the consequence of when a game developer outsources something, the high likelihood that there will be a disconnect in communication happens. So I think business have been hyper incentivized to scale up gaming, to optimize gaming, right? So matchmaking, faster game times, right? Faster statistics. The faster someone knows that they're contributing to performance, the better, the more game time they'll squeeze in, the more game time they'll be satisfied. But at the cost of having zero resolution on how that's affecting their perception of the bigger picture. Like, why are you even playing the game in the first place? And in my opinion, it has a very unfortunate consequence right now. When the day's over, you get that quick dopamine, you get that quick injection of your cheap, right? You're very cheap, resourceful, accessible, and I don't mean cheap as in like bad. Like, I'm talking about accessibility. Like it's fast, it's quick, it's direct, it's very immediate. Then you go to bed and you do it again, 30 minutes down the line, you start thinking, what did I achieve during those 30 months? Well, you could say all the stats that you have, but in my opinion, they're void of any other meaningful interpretation because you don't have anything to show for it. You have numbers, but the numbers have become soulless, cheap, lacking reward, lacking investments. There are still games that use stats in order to curate there. And mind you, I'm using like PvP stuff. There are games that continue to emphasize that the stats can show progress, right? It can show progress. So there are ways to use stats to encourage someone, like having a journal, having a record. So there are games that do that. League of Legends actually does that. So there are competitive games that still continue to at least adhere to someone's reward systems. But the team play thing, that's gone. Like, League of Legends, for example, would have to somehow make someone who queues into someone care about the history of another player. Like, they would have to tie in the behavior where if they care about that other person's match history and performances and stuff as much as they do their own. And that information is available. So third-party things make quick matchups and try to show histories of the 5 players. So they have the infrastructure to do that, to alleviate how it's so much easier to generalize someone based on their numbers, because you only have a couple minutes to think about it, maybe even a couple seconds. You hit tab, you see the number, and immediately you're making a judgment call on it. It's like, oh man, this guy only has 4 kills. All right, looks like I have 8 kills. I'm gonna siphon all the resources, and that will be our closest greatest like path to victory right away, right? And it works. That is one way to go about it. And we have to be aware, at least personally, I keep myself aware so that I don't get my feelings crushed or I get angry at other people. Like, for me, why is that important? Why is it that I don't get soul crushed by someone who's like a DPS and they yell at me for being a sucky player because I'm the healer who got like two kills, right? For example, in Overwatch is a great example. Well, or a DPS isn't hard on me. Let's use an opposite. The DPS isn't hard on me because I'm not important, because I'm the healer, so I don't get kills. So they're like, you know, there are lots of anti-socializing, differentiating behavior that comes with these designs. You no longer are concerned about other people's performances or how your performance interact with them. You don't need that anymore. You have all your stats. Your stats tell you if you continue to win, then whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. How you improve it, that's not, the stats won't tell you that in most games. How do you improve human relations with other people? How do you form a team and become a professional esports player? That's not going to help you. When was the last time you heard someone say, if you want to become a professional esports, solo queuing isn't going to help very much? It used to be not true. It used to be not as true, like not as accurate as it is now. Now I'm absolutely in that 90% wheelhouse where when someone says, if you solo queue all the time, that doesn't help you with team play to become a professional in a team, because it's no longer part of that experience anymore. It used to be part of that experience, but not necessarily in the game design. It was because of real life interactions. Most of the other social boundaries that are normalized were still there. On the internet no longer has that, unless you coincidentally are part of the minority, not the majority. The minority still create real life interactions. So I'm not saying everyone does this. Everyone has become a objective, unfeeling person, not because it's bad or good. It's because it's efficient and it's objective, or you're trying to be objective about things. But then you step into Minecraft. You step into, ironically, Duolingo. You step into the cringe stuff that other people find cringe. Their togetherness. Cringe, like human interaction is cringe. So if you understand that, that's why I don't find it cringe anymore. Like if someone says, oh man, you're being really cringy right now. I don't like that you keep complimenting me or like talking about this deep stuff. It's so cringe. I'm gonna leave. It's like, that's fine. But it's not gonna stop me from being cringe, because what is cringe now used to be the norm back then. Now the new stuff is no longer cringe. But suddenly when you say, good job, dude, high five, or man, dude, you're doing so well, go get him, like that type of conversation, even around public voice, it's cringe. It's cringe now because it's not normal, right? And that is kind of disappointing. I recently, in that same conversation, I told you that I miss those days. I miss days when I jump on an MMORPG, right? I jump on Neverwinter, and it's filled with all the modern cringe from boomer era or millennial era, where people come on to just say hi, hey, how are you doing today? Like, hey, you want to hit up this dungeon? I know we had some rough spots, but let's just work on it. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so cringe. Why don't we just get good and not have to deal with this? Just get good, my friends. Pick up your numbers. Go pick up your gear score. Go on YouTube and look up a tutorial. It's like, I don't have time to help you, and it would be perfectly normal. And that would be kind of a way friends interact nowadays. It's kind of wild. For the record, I don't think there are the people who want to learn from other people, like the people they trust, are so rare that you'll never encounter them. To this day, I think the friends that I have who are much younger than I am, right? They come from a different generation. Over time, we all like to share things with each other still. So like, we're learning about each other. I'm learning about them. They're informing me about things that they encounter. And sure enough, if someone doesn't want to learn a language and suddenly they want to learn a language, it's because I still think humans are still humans. So it's a really tough road though, getting someone to want to be invested. And I definitely do not blame any particular person about the observations I made about the lack of human interaction these days. Conversationalism and charisma, emotional intelligence is highly in demand, in my opinion, in the near future. Being able to understand but not necessarily have to participate makes a lot of money. It can also be very scary because it means that all those other people can be manipulated. I like to believe that someone who has command of this would not intentionally abuse or neglect this. Like, I'm saying this, but we've already have cases where like studios and developers and companies abuse the accessibility of how easy it is to manipulate someone who doesn't understand their emotional lack of emotional intelligence, right? So, but I think that's rare. I like to believe that's rare. I really do want to believe that humans are not born evil, right? So you had a similar conversation with your mate today about Steam and how they mostly operate for the users, and I think it's mostly due to it being a private company rather than a public one where the business decisions are stocked on what the stockholders want. And remember that the stockholders are at the mercy of consumer wealth, right? Like, what I mean is stockholders are far moved by their potential profitability, and the potential profitability are fantastic when you're also able to manipulate your consumers to thinking a certain way. Advertisement, targeted advertisement, algorithms. You invest in infrastructure that can normalize exposure. So where's the money go? Twitch, YouTube, but in a disproportionate way. It's so much more money for someone who's getting a platform, who's normalizing their consumer behavior. So you don't have to like Souls games. You just have to get exposed to it so much so in an echo chamber that it's fine. And I'm not saying developers do that, because developers aren't part of those decision making. I'm talking about the publishers. And to what end? If it works, the developers benefit. And that's necessary for them to continue making their games, right? And whatnot. But at some point, then it becomes a self-feeding thing where, well, you don't make decisions based on what you want or operate or share. You make decisions based on what the highest profitability is, and the highest profitability is determined by the most normalized form of behavior. So if everyone wants more of a specific game type, it will be that game type. If the most loyal, consistent fan base, like not even fan, but the most consistent revenue source is live service games, you make a live service game. If the most if everyone is still willing to spend 92% of the market share of GPUs to pay for NVIDIA cards, then sure as heck, they're gonna continue practicing those things, right? Affordable computers are not a thing until that normalized behavior becomes unacceptable. As in, when is enough is enough? It takes a motion that catches weight to change human behavior as a whole, or significantly on the internet. You gotta see whose voice is bigger. So when someone ruffles and starts something, they can escalate. And in my opinion, as a business model, you don't take those risks to fan the flames. You manipulate or you sidestep a lot of those criticisms by either feigning ignorance and or playing along in a way that it's still unnecessary. Obfuscation is one of the greatest tactics nowadays. What you don't see, what you don't hear is powerful on the internet, because one of the major behaviors, in my opinion, is that the internet, it operates and normalizes entirely on confirmation bias. Like, I would say more than 50% of people make decisions, talk about decisions, offer criticisms specifically and almost entirely based on confirmation. If they don't see it, it doesn't exist. If they see it, it's sufficient. In fact, when you see something, it's rarely ever sufficient to prove the point. I'm not a scientist anymore, but I sure as heck did not lose the principle of confirmation bias. When you can confirm something once, that doesn't mean it's sufficient to prove the pattern. You can state that it has happened. It is evidence. It's not predictive until it is consistently reproduced while considering other counter arguments or explainers to it. So when you present a pattern of prediction based on evidence, it has all the considerations of other ways to explain its occurrence. And if those are ruled out, that pattern is strengthened. It is unlikely to splinter and create spuriousness. Business is one of the most optimized versions of that, because when you ask a stockholder, what should we do? We should minimize any possible potential outcomes of risk. My exposure must be kept to a minimum, while sacrificing the willingness for them to sacrifice their profit, their margins have to be justified by how much exposure they have. So if they can minimize exposure while trying to maximize profitability margins, that's what happens when a developer is chained to that. You get fundamentally and formulaic designs. That's what iteration is, right? When you iterate, hello there, Mega Super General, hello. So Procol, nowadays we live in that environment. To be safe, you optimize by maximizing opportunities, and then you minimize for possible exposure. And private companies get to choose what their exposure is. Like Valve, Gabe Newell, hats off to him. He gets to call it, and that's pretty cool. It's awesome that that still exists, despite the huge scale, like a very noticeable scale Valve is. But for others, not so much. Like, you can't take... It's difficult for me to not empathize with how much exposure whenever you go off the paved path. Like, should you make a fighting game that makes you force yourself to play with other players? Ooh, I don't know about that, Chief. Like, the intent might be pure, right? The intent might be pure. For example, I'm not saying that what I'm saying would lead to profitability and great margins and risk of, like, it would work. That is almost the opposite of what I'm saying. The most things that I'm observing, they work because they're working towards that. What's a great way to get someone to buy your game regardless of the fact? You pander to them. You convince them that this is what they want. If they are already in it, it's easier to convince them more is better of the same thing, because you're not running the risk of it missing out. So if anything, they would be slightly more bored, but they will still buy your game. They're slightly more bored, but they'll still play your game. When you gotta eat, you gotta eat, right? So live service models do super well. When you eat it long enough, you're going to eat the stuff regardless if you like it anymore. It's gotten to the point where a habit is a habit because it might give you diminished return, but it's a habit. It's there. And I think one of the biggest casualties, or not yet casualty, one of the bigger suffering of the Japanese gaming industry, in my opinion, is they're late to the party. So Square Enix continues, or Sony continues to attempt to make a live service game when the eating phase, the adoptive eating phase, is already past its prime. Its prime, like, segment, right? Everyone's got their meals and their meal plans sorted out already. They've already been conditioned for many, many years now. So when you're trying to break into a market that relies on people's habits, it's very tough. What you can do is attempt to offer a higher standard, but the standard has to be so much higher to get someone to quit their loyalty. It's kind of like back in the day before the internet, people would buy car brands, right? You would buy car brands where if you bought a Ford before, if your parents bought a Ford, then you're more likely to buy a Ford. Brand loyalty. A live service is like an even narrower version of it now. Now it's gone to not just a brand, but an activity, a singular world activity. Try getting someone to quit Minecraft for something that looks like Minecraft. I don't know. That's kind of tough. And Minecraft is just one thing. When I say Ford, at least Ford makes multiple models that are dramatically different from each other. Minecraft does not necessarily, but you could argue creatively you might get different things. I would argue against that because there's a very substantial normalized way that Minecraft content is being consumed, and that's probably still the case now. And then, hear me out. You might be thinking, nah, that Ford isn't anything like that. Do you know what Ford Motor Companies is doing right now? They're removing the vast majority of their lineup in their vehicles for pickup trucks because they know that their profitability margin and exposure is their exposure is kept to a minimum, which is expenses and parts and production and labor costs and whatnot, and then they're narrowing it to pickup trucks because that's the highest profitability for the market share that they're getting feedback from using statistics, right? Very accessible statistics. And now you might even can affect it using content creation. Like Ford can simply focus on, instead of dividing choice, all their commercials can feature pickup trucks instead. And even those who might wanted a Ford Fiesta, which is getting discontinued, and also a Ford Focus, they could consider a pickup truck. And then you might be thinking, well, how does that bleed into the live service analogy? Well, you used to drive a Ford, but now Ford only makes pickup trucks. Are they more likely to buy a Ford pickup truck after the Ford Focus or the Ford Fiesta gets discontinued? Probably, actually, because they would still buy a Ford. And then what can Ford do? They can focus specifically on the thing that sells. And then you have full circle, the internet revolution, where you focus, for lack of a better word, you focus on the very thing and iterate. So you minimize exposure, minimize choice. You can give the appearance of choice, but you can minimize choice so that it consistently put out on the highest profitability margin. And Ford has done that. Now there are areas where other people are pushing back, like for example, not coincidentally, Eastern automotives are trying to preserve choice. So in order to differentiate from live service, which is established by the West, a lot of times you would argue most of the most successful live service are the Western ones. To contrast that, sooner or later, I feel like whichever of the Japanese developers decide, nah, we're just gonna do the opposite of iterating on stuff. We're going to be eccentric. Then, in my opinion, they will be joining the indie renaissance in the future when it comes back to video games. I think that is one of the pivots that I would say Capcom, Bandai Namco, Tecmo, Koei Tecmo, they're gonna have to negotiate. Nintendo, because fatigue is coming for the iterative design, and you are competing with the most iterative of all iterative designs, and that's live service. Like, you might be thinking, no, but Nintendo iterates all the time, and Switch 2 came out, Mario Kart World came out, and soon a new Donkey Kong is going to come out, right? They're still pushing. They are often celebrated for their innovations. They are not often celebrated on their iterative stuff. So it's to the point where, in my opinion, despite the 3.5 million pre-orders of Switch 2, something that's very popular is its novelty, but it is also the most criticized period of Nintendo's career, like Nintendo's legacy. Switch 2 to this day is probably, in my opinion, maybe we'll wait till the dust settles, but I anticipate that Switch 2 will be the most criticized piece of hardware in Nintendo's history, and every subsequent title that focuses on iterating will generate the most criticized period of Nintendo's history. Much like Capcom, while Capcom is doing the business practice, right? The business practice stockholder thing with Monster Hunter Wilds and Street Fighter 6 and whatnot to adhere to standards. I would argue that to this day, they are probably attracting the most criticisms that they have since, and how they adjust to that, it'll be interesting. I'm kind of curious who is going to break the mold first to lead, but Clear Obscure is a crack. It's one of the cracks. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the cracks. I think having successive years in which indies who break the mold is starting to stand out. I think there was a time when I said, it's less than 4 years ago, I think, I was like, oh yeah, that's so impressive. Like, an indie managed to capture the crown, and then it happens again, and then it happens again, and then you might be thinking, well, Astrobot isn't an indie. It was treated like an indie. Like, even Sony probably, if I had to make a gamble, they were probably surprised that that was what was showcased. I mean, during that year of Astrobot, they had other, probably far more high-profile investments in the year. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think the next couple years is going to be an exciting time. I don't think I'm going to get to Duolingo Japanese today, so we're just going to end it here when I'm done with HanziHero. But yeah, that's a great talking point. I really enjoy that talking point too. I'm earnestly curious when stockholders, right? When stockholders, you don't actually interact with stockholders. You might interact, in my opinion. I've never worked in corporate, like in the executive level, but my impression that I get is stockholders have intermediaries. They have representatives, and those representatives communicate stockholders' interest. So inherently, there's already this weird co-op game intermediary detachment already. It's kind of like a CEO interacting with their labor force. There's a lot of middlemen. There are a lot of intermediaries, and that intermediaries can make for your usual detachment from normalized behavior, like normalizing the impact or appreciating the impact of your decision making. So what does that look like? That look like numbers. It's amazing in a very somewhat terrifying way for myself that the people can see the errors or the deficiencies of corporate operations, like how inhuman it is, right? Because it's based on stats, how objective business is. It's clear and it's very generalized. It has a lot of simplicity and clarity. And at the same time, those same people who do that are also the same people who go to their nearest neighbor, log into a game, and do the exact same thing and behave, well, not exact same thing, but behave in a similar way that reproduces that behavior. So I often generally see that they don't look in the mirror in order to evaluate how all of this is connected, in my opinion. Connected in the sense that it's self-feeding. And you might be thinking, well, what about me? Do I do that? It's like, yes, of course I do that. Like, if I get so caught up in a video game and its stats, it can warp my perception of things too. The idea, the real culprit here, in my opinion, or the real point of interest for me here is I'm kind of curious how the cycle is going to be broken. Like how eventually this is not sustainable. I don't think this is sustainable. Many things in reality, especially humans reality, if you have a feed forward loop, if it loops and it feeds forward, oftentimes it escalates to the point it's not sustainable. So then something cracks. Maybe a wheel falls off, and then problem solving. You enter through a phase of problem solving. And that's usually when renaissances happen. Renaissance as in independent thought renaissance. Be it the indie game studios, the indie studios of anything, like the indie business models, the models that aren't represented yet. Like, they exist. All of these persist. But then you get champions, like this developer has championed a renaissance in standards, so standards will get reevaluated again. So the question is, when does it happen? When who our collective human minds will celebrate as the new renaissance? I feel like I want to make a distinction. A renaissance is more like a like a re-investigation or evaluation of ideas. At least that's how I'm using the word renaissance. Enlightenment is very different. Enlightenment is achieving something new that wasn't present in the system, right? Something like so emergent that it wasn't ever realized. I don't think that's the type of renaissance I'm talking about here. I think the internet has to introduce an enlightenment or innovation or technology or something, or discovery needs to create greater enlightenment. But a renaissance is likely to happen when things start escalating to the point it's not sustainable. So those ideas already exist. Reevaluating and recombining those ideas will be the next renaissance. So in no way am I suggesting that no one is doing this right now. At this very moment, there's going to be a collection of ideas, and during the Renaissance period that's coming in the next 5 years, I would say maybe roughly 5 years, I would love to see and live through that period and see what it looks like at the end of when we return to iterating on things. So cue the 8 million remakes that are coming out. And hear me out. I'm human. I have a guilty pleasure. I was really excited when I saw Persona 4 Revival being teased or announced in an indirect way. That's an iteration on Persona 4. So it's to the point where I'm going to play possibly Persona 3 and then the remake, Reloaded, Persona 4, and then Persona Revival, which is the remake, and then Persona 5. By the time I get to Persona 5, there's probably going to be a Persona 5 like remaster, super deluxe, iterated version of Persona 5. What else is getting remade? Everything. So until the Renaissance, you're going to get iterative design. And that goes back to stockholders and business decisions. And I participate in that. I'm complicit. So if they remake Sega, low-key, Sega, if you remake Yakuza 4, 5, and 6, I'm on board. Or 3, 4, 5, I'm on board. Take my money. That's human. I gotta be aware that I also have these tendencies, but right now it's probably easier for me to say these things because the iterative design, the safe bets, do not cater to me. They do not pander to me. Outside Clear Obscure, and sure enough, after I finish Clear Obscure, I have no motivation. Like I lacked any particular interest in exploring any other titles, right? Because I'm not the target market. If another like fantastical JRPG, like out of the box thing, combination of different standards in order for me to appreciate the standardization of JRPGs, then I will probably buy another one. Today, just to share as an anecdote, I'm not sure if you're always constantly thinking about video games, Brokaw. But today I saw that Clay Entertainment is having a publisher sale kind of thing. I usually only buy video games during 2 periods, which is July and December, right? But I was very tempted to purchase the whole DLC pack and the thing of a game that I've been waiting on. And that game is The Riff of the Necrodancer. It's a rhythm game. I wanted to play a rhythm game again. So then I looked up like copyright material and see like, can you stream this game without getting bopped by DMCAs and whatnot, but it's a rhythm game. So if you're thinking about, oh, MAKU, you're probably part of the system. You also play all the games that people buy millions of because you play Clear Obscure. It's like there's not another Clear Obscure. There's not another Baldur's Gate 3, even though even though I'm not invested in CRPGs. Right? There's Clair Obscur. And then what am I interested in now? I would be surprised if people knew there was a riff of the Necrodancer in a rhythm game at that. But that's what was catching my eye. And no, it's not going to be popular. No, I don't think if you're a content creator and you're really focused on business, right? If you're a business content creator, if you're going by the business, going after opportunities, you do not make games that are niche. You do not make content on niche things. You can gamble on investing so much of yourself into the niche thing that one day, when it is trendy in some way, it breaks out and you're the leader. Renaissance period. Right? So you could be doing that now while everyone else is like, yeah, we're just trucking along. Like, what does that look like? At least for me. Play a soulless game. Yes, you heard me. I said play a soulless game. A Souls-like. Go play a Souls-like game. To me, again, it might sound very, very direct, but I don't like playing soulless protagonists. They're not satisfying. Being myself is doing work that I otherwise prefer to pay someone else give me a great time. So I don't want to be playing myself. I don't want to be playing the same skills that I have because it's not interesting. I like to stumble. I like to fall flat on my face. I like someone telling me when I'm playing a video game to not do that. It's bad. Bad for you. Like, we want you to be a good person. Like, nice. Because when you're playing a competitive game, you only care about yourself. It's not that rewarding to me. And when you're a team, like a team player, you either go professional because everyone's obligated to play with each other, or you stick to solo playing games. Right? But the most popular business model of games are multiplayer games. But they're multiplayer games. They're not cooperative player games. They're most definitely, going back to your first comment, they're not cooperative games. People are not cooperating with each other. And then you keep if someone says, yeah, of course you play as teammates. Okay, what are your examples? Esports. Yes, because esports is not the same as solo queuing. So most of the examples deal with obligation to play in a team, not necessarily behaving like that. Some might say, oh no, I always am a team member. That's why I always win. I'm like, I would love to see you prove it. Even using the rudimentary metrics that you have. You probably carry, and that's sufficient. I don't, like, someone who's able to say that so nonchalantly, I think is very, in my opinion, very unaware of how non-cooperative cooperative games are. You seemingly coincidentally have people who play well together by happenstance due to statistics. You don't play well together because somehow you played together well enough to understand how to play together. That's too much effort, like, by convenience, in my opinion. It's too tough nowadays, and I probably don't blame you. It's probably too tough to sit here and talk for more than 15 minutes to someone. It's difficult to sit in a game and wait 10 minutes before the game starts to talk in a lobby and plan out and introduce each other. All of that stuff, it takes too long. human interaction takes far longer periods of time than using technology to alleviate that convenience. You don't have to you don't have to schedule an appointment. Calling takes too much time. You click on a few buttons and then it's done. The faster you get it done, the better. So it's gotten to a point where technology has hyper convenient human interactions. Like, why ask a friend? Why ask a friend to play a video game if you can design an AI, a system that acts as your backup? I think that's kind of a future thing to consider. The idea that one day, your bots are going to be preferred over other humans. And then we're back to video games. You know, like solo playing experience. We're back to the true solo playing experience, where your opponents are bots and then your friends are bots. So therefore you're playing a solo player game. In fact, I would be very, very curious if I can ask someone, how do they play competitive games? Do they see another human player at the other end? You know, like in the traditional sense, or like the old age sense, or is it just a target? Is that another target? Because I would think that when AI becomes sufficient enough to mimic some of these things, then it's more than sufficient to replace human opponents. Oftentimes, the biggest opponent nowadays is the self. So I often focus on that most of the time. Your biggest opponent nowadays for most of your life decisions and healthcare, learning, it's yourself. You're the biggest opponent. The unattainable opponent, the nearly improbable skill set, now, in my opinion, involves other people. So any skill in my, like, from the list often involves interacting with another person. So you take your classical group, maybe anyone who's been on the internet for more than 10 years, less than the age of 25, ask them, what do you find hard to do? Like, what are things that you avoid? What are the things that constantly create consternation and that you wouldn't start or work towards or enjoy? I often feel like in some way, shape, or form, when you ask them and describe the parts of those activities that deal with interacting with another human being, they would probably agree with you, yeah, that part sucks. Like, oh man, I really want to get good at this video game. It's a shame my team sucks. I don't want to play this video game anymore because all the time my team sucks. And the other team is always better. Like, that's not true, by the way. Most of the time, statistically, it's not the case. How systems work for these games, that can't possibly be the reality. But it is that person's reality. So then you would go into language learning. I'll relate it back to language learning. What part are you afraid of? Like, what is the final step? What are you putting off? Talking to other people. And I'm like, well, you're talking to me right now. It's like, but you're not speaking Chinese or Japanese. Like, well, you're talking to me like you don't talk to people. I'm just saying. So when someone says, oh, I don't like talking to people, and then they're talking to me, and my first thought was, so I don't count. That's how you get rid of problems. You pretend like they're not a problem. So when you talk to someone, it's like, I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to get people to want to learn a language, or I don't have friends to learn language. Those are the hard parts. They are very difficult, and I don't blame you. At the same time, you have to start somewhere, because I earnestly believe that the substantial amount of time on the internet reinforces avoidant behavior, and also reinforces the self in which they avoid human contact. Human contact is the end boss, or human thoughts is kind of the end boss. It's easier to say someone sucks by looking at their KDA than looking at them playing or talking to them, right? Like, hey, why is your KDA 0, 4, and 2? Nah, that's too much effort. It's easier to look that they have 0, 4, and 2, and they suck. And that's it. That's the end of the discussion. You don't really need to ask them anything. And when you're offering advice, you don't need to ask the person anything if they're interested in the advice or not. It takes too long. The easiest way is, you've seen this before. Maybe your favorite influencer told you that anyone who uses whatever are bad at language learning. So then you take shortcuts. You come in and you're like, oh, you're using this. I just wanted to tell you, this person said, and a lot of people agree, that you're bad at language learning. So here's my advice to you. Like, oh, well, hello to you too. May I ask, do you know what my interests are? May I ask you what your interests are? And may I ask you what your background is in language learning? Who are you talking about? When you say they, are you referring to you or someone else? And do you know who I am? Too much effort. The easiest, most optimized way is, you're not doing it, so therefore you're wrong, right? And you can't be hurt. Sometimes it still hurts, right? If you're at the receiving end of these type of interactions, being aware of it only softens the dissonance. But for myself, it's sufficient to not be deterred by such things. So I play competitive games, right? Pro-call, like cooperative, teammates, and whatnot, with that type of mindset in mind. I'm not out to revolutionize or reinvent human consumption of video games. Not at the moment. Oh there, Hideyoshi. What's up? What's up, Doc? What have you been up to? What's on your mind? Alright, so for that, I'm probably not going to get to Duolingo Japanese today, but we're going to finish up our HanziHero thing, then we'll do it tomorrow. I think. What's tomorrow? Friday. Yep. Okay. Yeah, what's up, Hideyoshi? What are you up to?
那个广告误导了顾客。
You found the book with the silly mnemonics today? Yeah. James Hazix. Yep. Remembering Simplified Hanzi. Did you read it? What are your thoughts? I didn't read it myself. But I've been told a lot about it. Sufficient enough to know what it is by name and by subtitle. Or like the subtitle, Remembering Simplified Hanzi. That's the book you thought was tied to the site. Oh. I suppose I should have asked you. I could have asked you to describe the book you're talking about, and I might have been able to provide James Hazix to you. Largely because these things are tied to James Hazix as well. Like, for example, HanziHero is tied to Hazix. Kevin actually mentions Hazix in describing HanziHero on his channel. I didn't know what you were expressing at the time, so I could have been a little bit more inquisitive. Glad you found the book. came back to inform me about it. I'm not surprised. This is tied to Hazix, so if you had any doubts or any presumptions, it's quite literally mentioned by Kevin. Compass and hills. I have to push this. Can't fill it out at the moment. Let's take a quick jab.
房
Okay. Billings. Billings are interesting. Getting in touch with my feelers.
来自
你来自哪里？
I don't know yet. I think this is more like figurative. Maybe like, whoops, a bad typo.
痛
Oh, I typed a 2 instead of a 3. I must have backspaced and typed the wrong thing.
卫生纸
我们家里的卫生纸用完了。
Was that it? Hideyoshi, what have you been up to other than that? I imagine there's other things. Like a ride to come from, yeah. Oh, that's why I wanted to type origin. Whoops. And then I typed the same thing. Okay, I was fine with the origin, actually. Busy night? Oh, busy night, huh? Well, it's been multiple nights, right? Been multiple nights. Some of your relatives are out of the country. I'll give you 2 guesses where. What do you mean? Like, where they are, or where they're, like, where they're going, where they're coming from? What do you mean by 2 guesses? Where they're chilling right now? You mean current events related? No, I don't have any guess. I don't know. I don't know you. I mean, yeah. I don't know enough about your parents nor about you. I think you're sufficiently cryptic, or discreet about that stuff. So I'll take a jab besides them. Well, it's not parents, it's extended relatives. That exacerbates the that makes it even less likely that I'm able to guess. So I'm just gonna entertain. I'm gonna entertain you. You know, I will play along with guessing, but it's more like an exercise of futility. They left California. Know that I'm not basing this on anything I know about you, nor do I know your parents, nor your relatives. And if it's extended relatives, is even less likely that I would be accurate or have a guess, because I have no way of knowing. You're incredibly discreet, which is mature, very mature. They're in a country that was trending #1 a few hours ago. I wouldn't know a few hours ago because I was streaming. So, Russia. Or China. Iran? Oh. Iran? Okay, we can find out what the current event is. Oh, I see. Well, it would be very difficult for me to know that that was trending since I was streaming for the last 6 hours. Iran kapate, as they say in Hokkaido. Good morning. Oh, okay. That's neat. I think I've seen that phrase before. I see. But thanks for the share. I'm familiar with the I knew. Yes. Yep. Happened a couple of times in the last couple games I played. Back to cleaning? Alright, good luck. Good luck.
出场，
合格产品才能出厂。
目标，
我们的目标一定能达到。
标题，
我不喜欢这部电影的标题。
单，
I think origin works quite a bit more than come from. But I can see that. Like, where did you come from? But where your origin, where did you originate? But not necessarily origin as in where are you from? It's where you come from. I think.
地
Based on
点，
those
我通
sentences.
常会睡晚一点。
What? Okay.
年纪，
他看起来不像他的年纪。
No, it doesn't. No. I don't think so. It'll accept it and then say it's a little bit off. Or something like that. I think it accepts. Yeah, it accepts enough tolerance. I think. Oh no. Not for opinion. Not for opinion. I would have to look. Sometimes they add Taiwan specific and unusual reads sometimes. or like silencing and whatnot. So I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't tried either. mm,
这
uh, hmm. Huh. I don't know what the phrasing is. Maybe like combine? I group. Hmm. Whoops. Oh, 今年。
简直
我简直不能想象有这种事。
今年
嗯
初步
这只是初步的想法。
嗯，Yeah，嗯，
脸红
一见陌生人就脸红，
哈哈
哈哈，你很幽默。
what is another way to talk about bringing the group together? Unify? Okay, fine.
工具
一种工具，
二手
我想要买二手车。
What? 二手 The heck? Um, it's not that. I know that, but I was gonna try it anyways. Marshall. Marshall. Huh. Oh, it's probably okay.
衣架、
我找不到衣架。
猪、
This is not what I think it is. Oh no, it might actually be. Oh no, it's not.
西式、
西式快餐。
It was not. Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's a hair. Okay. All right, what do I think this is? It's probably like... Do we just go straight to generation? Oh, leaf. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna remember that. Okay.
学派、
这个学派又开始复兴。
湖边、
他坐在湖边读书。
错误、
那只是一个无意的错误。
How about two-wheeled? Okay. Like two hands. This is so obscure. I have no idea. We're gonna block this out probably. Second hand. Oh, right. Right. Like, that's right. This is so early on. Okay. It's fine. We'll laugh about it and we're good. Right, second hand. That's almost like a riddle. It almost qualifies as a riddle. Second hand. What did I now think about that? Second hand. Well, we tried.
实验、
这是一个重要的实验。
Easy straight. Like straightforward? I think this is gonna get blocked too. Simply? Oh yeah. I'm just gonna put straightforward. Straightforward lines up quite a bit. Like it's simply this. It's pretty straightforward. Uh
挂号、
我们可以网上挂号吗？
second hand.
亮丽、
这座城市的景色非常亮丽。
I think that's gonna make my night.
肺、
Straightforward. Oy. Oy vey.
总数、
苹果总数。
警察、
我害怕警察。
What am I looking at? Maybe it's gut feeling? No. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Huh.
属性，
这个产品具有很多不同的属性。
What? Oh, I guess they take race. Oh no, attribute. Oh yeah, that attribute. Offers, what are you doing? Why is pause fridge a thing? Oh no. Did something happen? Oh, for those who come after. That's funny. You know what's funny about that meme? You bought Expedition 33 on Steam. Wait, what did you... Oh. Wait. Oh, because of Xbox Game Pass, right. You know what's funny about that meme where that the guy like for those, it's interesting that Game Pass refunds your money for the month still. Oh. Ari so off-putting? What does Ari so off-putting? Re so off-putting? What? I love seeing the strokes that Simplify never uses. Oh. They're so off-putting. Oh, I see. What'd you call it? Offers. That meme. Oh, okay, I see. That meme where it says for those who come after, and he's like hitting, and it says 9,199. Did you get what I'm laughing about yet? I don't know. Are you? Did you like? I don't know how far you are. Did you get past Act 2 yet? Okay. Because I think it's really funny, the juxtaposition. Because for those who come after, wait till like, I want to revisit this emote or the gift that you used. I want to revisit that after you conclude Act 2, because it's really funny to me that they say for those who come after, and that guy is doing 9,999. Do you play on expert though, like a big boy? Yes, I accidentally played on expert. I don't know when, but I think it's after the second day. I think you'll get it. You'll enjoy it. You were on story diff before, like story diff, like the bottom story diff, which has like the... Oh, by the way, the Clear Obscure got updated. The easiest diff? Okay, so on the easiest diff, the parry and dodge window are extended by like 30% now, and they do like 30% even. Yeah, they made it even easier. But the mid diff is perfectly fine. I don't think there's a big difference between the mid diff and the high diff, because most things are just going to single slap you in the face anyways. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think either or is fine. It's not going to substantially affect your experience, but Act 3 stuff is pretty sweet. I think Act 3 stuff is pretty dang sweet. So here's my take on the Clear Obscure thing, Coffers. If you don't want to reset very often, then play mid diff. If you don't mind resetting, play the top diff. The largest difference between the two is saving that less than 1 second to run back to the encounter, because most of the time the encounter is just saved right in front of the encounter. So, right. Main menu theme is slapping you in the face right now. Yeah. So in my opinion, that's one of the major differences. And then you can always adjust the challenge diffs, which I'm excited. I might actually play Clear Obscure from vanilla again when they release a DLC. I think DLC is in the future. But I love that they capped something. So I'll let you find that out on your own when that happens. But yeah, what the heck is that fridge, dude? It actually looks kind of pleasant. Heckin' fridge. Wait. What did I learn about this? Oh, simply. You have to experience the gommage. Oh, so you ended up refunding the Xbox Game Pass. Interesting. You didn't find anything else you wanted to play on the Xbox Game Store? I see. I have to admit though, I think you'll this is a bold statement. Offers. I think you'll take to Expedition max difficulty, as max as possible, as hard as Clear Obscure can be. I think you'll take it to OS. Like you'll take to it like you take to OS. That's kind of how I feel about it's a rhythm game. Like what I mean is it's a rhythm based input. So I think you like to do that. I actually think you enjoy that. So I would if I had to go and say and predict how well I know you, the expert diff is the way. First time to play the game with your arcade stick. Wait, what the heck? You're playing the game with an arcade stick? How does that work? Why are you playing with the... Wait, do you not have a controller? Wait, hold up. Oh. Wait, but if you had the leverless controller, it might actually work. Like what I mean is, instead of like squeezing shoulder buttons and whatnot, it is really very similar to the lever, like it's just having an arcade stick, but you're not using the stick part. You're only using the hand part, because I ended up using a setup that used 4 fingers. I ended up using 4 fingers instead of what is traditional. People use 3 fingers, like this way, right? So I used my ring finger. My ring finger was used to parry. Because the shoulder was used to hit the right trigger, and my middle finger, my thumb was used for jumping. I don't even know what my middle finger was. Oh no, my middle finger was doing the right trigger. My pointer finger was doing nothing most of the time. It's kind of like I was like pinching. I was trying to get all 4 fingers in on it, because you have to hit 4 things. Sorry, slightly spoiler, but we already talked about this. You need 4 inputs. You need 4 inputs. But the thing is, if you're playing like OS, right? First, if you play Killer Obscure like you're playing OS, you already know them coming. So if you get down your reading, then everything seems like it clicks. So if you know your hit sound, your approach circle, well, it's kind of AR11 if you don't, like, it's AR11 in OS if you don't pay attention to camera movement. Camera movement is the approach circle. It has a hit sound, by the way. The hit sounds are the sound effects. They're very prominent. So there's prominent hit sounds, or like a sound, the beat sound, and then there's camera movement for the approach circle. There's also a hit stop. There's a hit stop for when you're about to get hit. And then there's visuals. But it's a really big but. There are opponents, there are characters in Clear Obscure that kinda mixes up the game a little. And then there's like, we already talked about this a lot. I talked to you so much about the various variants. I would love to see what you think. But I think ultimately you probably take it to like playing a TV size map. It's basically a TV size map all the time. Or it's less than a TV size map. It's a diff spike. If you took all your favorite diff spikes, right? Like, I don't know if you have a favorite diff spike, but just imagine 3-star, 3 to 4-star. Okay, let's say 5-star AR10. 5-star AR10 diff spikes. And then that's it. Just, oh yeah, 1-2. Yeah, it's basically 1-2 diff spikes all the time. So you string all the 1-2 diff spikes together. And I can tell you, if it was graded on, what did you call it? Stability, you know, like how the stability, your, what is it called? SI? Like what was the thing where it tells you like how close you are to unstable rate? Yes, the unstable rate. The game, my unstable rate is off the charts, but the window's pretty good. The window is pretty big. It's like 50 milliseconds. You have like 50 milliseconds before and after. I feel like it's like 20 milliseconds for like parrying, but it's like 50 seconds before and after for dodging. So I don't know how that calculates the frames, because my frame rate might have not been stable when I was streaming, right? So I would say plus or minus 5 frames for dodging, and plus or minus 2 or 1 frames for parrying. So overall, it's like a 4-frame window when you take in consideration the unstable rate, and then like a 10-frame window for dodging. It might not be that generous, but it feels like it if I had to guess from those perspective. But you got to do it. You got to do it. I probably would even watch you do it. It's kind of fun. I've been watching a lot of people play Clear Obscure. At every one of the moments, like, what is the first moment in Clear Obscure? You already played past it, but all the like the pinpoint. It's like playing Subnautica. After playing Subnautica, I literally wanted to go and watch everyone hit every one of those moments. And the first one in Clear Obscure, it's absolutely the gommage. When you just watch the people, like, man, people, there's so many variances of sadness. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing about this. But when you watch a montage of people like how different people try not to be upset. There are so many ways that people are not upset. I was the like I was the guy that we just look, and then all I can say at the end is like, I'm really upset right now. Like I'm like crying inside really deeply. And then you have the people who do the like the max. I'm gonna do like a Maximilian max reaction. He do like the he like does the wide eye blinking, and then like look to the right. It's like, yep, the music, guys. Or you have the one like, I'm not crying, you're crying. It's so funny. Sorry, but those moments are hilarious. I did the gommage, man. Yeah, experience it again. I don't want to say anymore because yeah. Wee woo, that's all I have to say. We and the woos, you know. There are quite a lot of woos in the beginning, but maybe some wees in between. This is a wee moment about a woo moment.
考察
我们需要更多时间来进行考察。
You think this game actually tops Hollow Knight? If I had to like squint really hard, and think about the game type, the subgenre, and all that. Like, if I had to dispense it, I don't have a contest here. I absolutely love Hollow Knight, but man, it's kind of hard to think about anything that tops the experience. Yeah, they're still their own genre, but still, it's over. Sorry guys, this is a little bit of a digression, but it is so hard to recover for me to be enthusiastic. But Coffers, by the way, when you showed up, right, it's a coincidence why I'm thinking about Os, because I totally forgot the Riff of the Necrodancer is a thing. I still have to play a Riff of the Necrodancer. It's on sale right now and I'm so tempted. Their recent update was Hitsune Miku, right? They added like DLC for Hitsune Miku, but I totally forgot that. Oh, that is like helping me with Rhythm Sprout, right? Rhythm Sprout was okay, but man, the Riff of the Necrodancer, it's really expensive, by the way. Each like the collaborations, so they collaborate with Celeste, the soundtrack from Celeste. They've been collaborating with other indies to release tracks. Oh, by the way, Riff of the Necrodancer allows you to add custom tracks and also make your own tracks. So they have a track generator for music. So maybe in July I'll probably play it, but I want to play a rhythm game right now. I most clear up, and you might be thinking why clear up scare. Clear up scare makes me want to play a rhythm game because music is great, but then you're like dodging and you're dodging to sound effects and camera angles. Like, ooh, I want to play a rhythm game again. No joke, no joke. Clear up scare made me want to play a rhythm game. I want music to be the moving element in my next game. All right, that's enough talking about clear up scare. All right. Are you gonna now play the game though, Coffers? I feel like, how far did you play on the Xbox Game Pass? I want to do challenge runs in that game, so I'll probably do a challenge run. You're up to the flower boss. Oh, go blue, right? Go blue in flying waters. Okay. Yeah, I want to do a challenge run the next time. You think it wasn't that far? No, not that far. Yeah, you got plenty of experience left. Like what I mean is, you got plenty of things to grab your feelers and then slap you around a little bit, and then maybe occasionally give you like a nice dollop of ice cream or something, and then slap you a couple of times more. You know, and then have all the bosses literally slap you around. When they release DLC, I'm probably gonna do a challenge run. There'll probably be like some gimmicky only this run to play the game all over again. It's gonna be fantastic. I haven't felt that way about most games in a while. Like be able to, except for like Os, you know. But Osu has been a while, you know, doing like weird ways to play the game situation. What is this? Examine. To like investigate. Okay. Time to descend. Yes, time to descend into despair. Oh wait, I had the word for despair recently. What was it? Non something. Or like boo. Oh. Something. It was difficult. Difficult. Something. I'll come up with it once it becomes. Despair. I will be able to express despair in 4 different languages. Amazing. One day I'll write a review, like a short review in 4 different languages of how Terra Obscura makes you feel despair. Alright. Gonna be real. If you're still playing later in the day, I wouldn't mind seeing what you're playing, like as you're going. I'd love to see what's happening. Oops. Listen, you can't escape my wandering eyes. I want to see what happens when you reach them. Might be out for a while because you're going out tomorrow. Might be up for a while because you're going out tomorrow. They're trying to get in the game time tonight. Oh, that's what you mean. But at first, I'm like, if you're going out tomorrow, don't you want to go to bed soon? If you know what I mean. Like, my first thought was, so that means you're not gonna be up, right? Because you have to go out tomorrow. You gotta prepare. Who needs bed? Listen, of all the people. Alright. Alright, help me out with this. Pen. Burner. Oh. Dang it! Hmm.
经验，
这位老师有丰富的经验。
You'll be chilling. Gonna leave around noon. I see. Wait. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. Oh, no. Tomorrow's Friday. Just kidding. Sorry, it's past midnight here. Pass check. Experience?
一些，
他想吃一些甜点。
YOLO. Okay. That's not what I'm thinking of. So I gotta think of something else.
赢得，
他们赢得了冠。
Wait. Is this? Yeah. Good luck, Hoppers. Oh no, it's not.
进，
It's not. I'm like, what am I thinking of? No, it's not.
群，
Oh no. Wait, no, I got it.
« 结，
That took a lot of resources.
团，歌剧，
编写歌剧。
I had such an opportunity to talk about so many random things. Hopefully, it would impress me quite a bit if people understood what I mean by unstable rate and that stuff for all those players out. I used to pose as someone who knew how to play rhythm games. I was a poser. A boomer rhythm game player. Imagine. I wonder how many boomer rhythm game players out there. Hey, no? No. What?
类似，
类似情况，
I typed the wrong tone. Wait, hold up. That's not it.
明显，
很明显他在撒谎。
I screwed this up. Oh, that's not that's a misread. Oh. 低调 Ah! Oh, I missed a G. What? Wait a minute. Hold up. I screwed up. Wait. Whoa. Something is not right there.
双赢，
获得双赢的结果，
YOLO?
按时，
你的按时吃药，
On. Schedule must press schedule on time. What am I doing here? What? Oh.
低调，
他是个低调的人，
That's fine.
内乱，
这个国家正在经历内乱。
Yep, that's how you spell strife. Knew it all along.
“花束”
一束芳香的花束。
回到，
我们无法回到过去。
回到。Okay, that's fine. Sure. That's fine.
盾，
Help. Yeah, kidding. Whoops. Oh. Right? Oh, that. Ah.
容，
Oh no, that's contained. Right.
美丽，
多么美丽的景色啊！
Wow. Oh. It's related to plow, but not plow.
理解，
你要理解他的感情。
序，各种各样，
他有各种各样的想法。
线，察觉，
察觉可疑的活动。
Detect. It's detect.
石桥，
那座石桥已有100年历史。
Oh. 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 Sorry.
哑，巴，
Oh. What? Oh, I typed the wrong thing again. Sorry.
另类，
她是一个另类的女孩。
What? Wait. That not what that is? Oh no. No. Okay, it's fine. This is a sickle. It's a dropping. Oh. That's right. Wanikani.
句，耳， 就
What? Oh.
内容
这本
Whoops. How did I screw this up? Hmm.
走 显眼
他戴着一顶显眼的大红帽子，
Okay. When it's obvious to the eye is... I don't know how to phrase this in English. Like apparent? Obviously, it's not it. I want to avoid using the word obvious. Hmm. YOLO. Just kidding. What is happening here? I'm getting something mixed up. So what? Soldier, mouth, and thread.